Only two states of the mind exist. There's either the state of creation or there's the state of survival. I've been studying these things for many years. I did a 3 years training where we focused on a body-centered approach, but also using psychology. And I dove deep in the non-dual understanding, now bringing it all together in a condensed version. I want to start with a little exercise. Just intuitively, right now, would you place yourself more in the state of creation or survival? Just check in a few seconds and give an intuitive answer. Later I will explain more in detail what these two stages mean, and then I will give you an everyday practice that you can do whenever you think of it, and really helps you to localize and then shift when you're in survival to creation mode. So let's dive in deeper. The first state is actually our natural state when we are not conditioned. Also when you see kids, when they're not conditioned, they are in this state. And they feel connected. They just do things with the world and they explore. And this state here, it's in the now. And there, if you're in this natural unconditional state, there is fun, there's creativity, there's play, and there's wonder. And here you can access the past and the future, but without losing your center, without losing the connection. Basically, what it needs for the past are two things again. One is acceptance, and the other one is digestion. That means that whatever happened in the past either need to be accepted or digested. Like food needs to be processed, right? So it's not so much about healing or getting rid of it, or often what happens is people try to suppress it and then you over-identify with the mind, but I come to that in a second. It's just what was. And for the future, it would be vision. And that can either be looking forward to something, reasons to looking forward, or it could be thinking about how to make it happen, right? So what might be? So in this, from the now, you access both, and you can see the arrows, they're pointing that is basically one movement. And then you would have this second state where you also have the past and the future, but here, as symbolized as the bombs, they are threads, right? There would be blame, shame, or guilt. So either blame and shame that goes inside, or there's shame and guilt going inside and blame outside, but they're all kind of pulling away from the now or pulling away from yourself. And it's something you try to fight against because it's a threat, right? And so that would be what should not have happened. And then for the future, worry and projection, something that might go wrong, your mind will find ways why it will fail instead of how to make it happen. It's all about why it shouldn't happen, right? Let's go deeper why that happened. So here wrote, it's about the mind identification, and that can really be, and that's the survival mode, that can be either from trauma or it can be from conditioning. All this here would bring you into feeling like a victim, and here would be the adventurer. The main difference is also that here you feel like you are someone separate and lost in your mind, in your head, and things are coming from the outside and you feel powerless to that, and that's why it creates suffering. And here also things might have happened. It's not about this exalted state where everything is just roses or everything is just nice, but it's more about the state of mind. That's really like the two big states, and sometimes you're on the line, right? But just to simplify it, how is this relevant for everyday life? And for that I want to do a little practice with you. And remember, at the beginning you just checked in and you were just deciding intuitively which state you would be in. And now with having all this knowledge, maybe it's easier to identify. And I also want to give you a little guidance. So let's do this practice together. So right now, start with what do you sense in your body? Do you sense heat, or do you sense something cold or something contracted, something expanding? And that's just natural sensations there. And maybe you also feel emotions in your body. You feel maybe joy, or you feel anxiety or anger. Could be something very subtle. Just notice that there is energy moving in your body. Like I said in my first video, that emotions are energy in motions. And then there's a third layer, and that's really the thoughts. So when you feel a sensation or an emotion, maybe there's a thought coming, right? And so based on that, when you feel right now, would you place yourself in the survival mode? Is your body in survival mode from all the sensations and emotions and maybe thoughts that are running? Or is it something that feels creative, or just something natural? Like you can be sad or angry, but if you see it as natural, it's not a problem, and then you can just see it as energy going through, right? So then you can still be in the adventure mode where you just explore. And so you can use that in your everyday life to just check in and see whether you feel resistance, like with this, where you're resisting something either from the past or the future. And that creates this tension. That's why the arrow is pointing outwards. There's the tension between you and then the outside world, where you see yourself as separate. Or you feel it's more something is circulating, or you're just observing. And that creates these states of wonder or creativity. And so you can do this and just explore where you're in. And when you feel yourself to be in survival mode, you can just do an experiment where you close your eyes and you just breathe into it and you are with it, if you have this space. And you can see what happens if you just allow it, right? In another video, I might go deeper what else you can explore, but for now, you can start with just see what happens when you allow it, this sensation or the emotion. How does it change? And what often happens is when you allow it, when you're just present with it, that it might shift. If you want to go deeper in the emotions, I will do a future video about it, but also my first video is exploring the topic of emotions, so you can watch that there.